going awesome. Let me tell you, the ground game is in effect with our volunteers, and as usual, the strategy is in place, and I think we can say it's clearly working. But I want to say one thing. You know, I went actually door knocking with Martin just a couple of weeks ago in my neighborhood, which was, you know, of course, you could see what's coming. I was trying to help him, but really it was the other way around, because every door we went to, people were so excited to see him, and then I got to get introduced. But what we need, there's two ways to win if you're a Democrat in Albuquerque and in New Mexico. And one is to move to the middle. The other one is to stay true to your values and turn out all the Dems. And that's what the Martin Heinrich campaign is doing. And that's also why we need your help. So tonight, if you can, no matter what, please sign in at the back, make sure your name's in the system, and at least commit to one day to helping out Martin. Because this is how it's won. All the fundraising, all the TV ads, everything like that, it's already been shot for the most part. That game is done. Right now it's about turning out the vote, and that's what we need your help for. So what I'd like to do now is introduce someone who needs very little introduction. And that is Martin's wonderful wife and mother to his wonderful family, and someone who also is very active in the community. For those of you who don't know, I actually see her all the time at community events in my district, doing all sorts of good things for our community. Hey, Julie. So Julie, come say a few words.
Senator Keller is wonderful, very hardworking, ambitious young man.
Yes, he is.
I want to start first by just thanking the band. They are here tonight as volunteers. Rainbow Rhythm Beat Grinder. So please consider them at your next party. A lot of people ask me, Julie, did you realize what this was going to be like when you got into campaigning? Did you realize the impact this was going to have on your family? And we probably didn't quite realize that. However, there are a couple of things that keep us going. One of which simply is, for me, Martin's ability to impact the lives of so many people in a positive way. And that makes my sacrifice, the sacrifice of our children, that much easier. Secondly, we have a very strong family, and we have always decided that his running for office was going to be a family ordeal. And if you have any doubt, I'll tell you that last week I stepped out into the front yard to get the morning paper, and right next to our Martin Heinrich for Congress sign, there was a box, a cardboard box with a hole in it, and our son Carter, age 7, had created, "Please give to Martin Heinrich a little pictures of pennies and nickels." So give your pennies and nickels to Carter Heinrich. He's raising from his daddy, so sweet. And lastly, it's all of you. You all energize us. Every time you make phone calls, every time you put a sign out, and we see it when we're driving because my kids count them all. They see them all when we're driving.
Yes.
You give us energy to be able to do this. You recharge our batteries, or perhaps a metaphor more apt for my husband, you're like the sun to our solar panels. So shine on, and please give a big, sunny, warm welcome to my husband and your congressman, Martin Heinrich.
When Carter created the box, it was actually the day after I flew back to Washington, and Julie had taken pictures of it and shared that story with me, and I thought, my kids are spending way too much time in the finance office. But we are incredibly lucky to have them on the campaign trail with us. And looking around this room, I can say this looks like a room that doesn't want to go back to where this country was 3 years ago. And I can say, having just come from, actually the first time I've ever seen Air Force One land, and greeting the President, welcoming him to occurred to me how hard so many of you worked 2 years ago so that we could see a change in direction in the White House and the Congress and the Senate. And that's what's at stake this year. All of that work, and certainly there are many, many things yet to be done. We have a long ways to go to turn around the almost decade of regressive policies in this country. But when you look at what's at stake, it's not just what we've accomplished in a year and a half of saying that women ought to get paid the same as men, for goodness sakes. Of saying maybe we ought to have an energy policy in this country. Of saying, you know, healthcare, that ought to be for people with diabetes too. But we're not going to give up on all the work that was done in 2008 because we have so many things where we need to continue to move forward. We have immigration reform that we need to finish. We need an energy policy in this country. We need to keep moving our economy forward, for goodness sakes. And going back to the exact things that put us into this mess in the first place, all the policies of the past, of giving tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires and saying, well, we'll just pay for it by raising the retirement age of Social Security from 65 to 70. That is not progress, and that is not what I represent. And I have to tell you, John Boehner is in Washington, D.C., measuring the drapes, thinking that he's going to be the next Speaker of the House of Representatives. The only way he can become Speaker is by coming through New Mexico. He has to win here. He has to pick up the swing seats right here in the central New Mexico, in southern New Mexico, to become Speaker of the House of Representatives. And so when we say we're going to stop, we're going to keep fighting for the things that New Mexico's congressional delegation has worked on over the last few years, it's not just about New Mexico. It's about our entire country. It's about drawing a line in the sand in New Mexico that says if we can keep Martin Heinrich and Ben Ray Lujan and Harry T., the rest of the country benefits too.